Absolutely. Here's a powerful conviction. Heavy opening for your speech focus for 12 hours straight. In the style of Eric Thomas Raw, intense and deeply motivational. This intro is designed to grab your audience by the heart, lock in their attention, and convince them to ride with you for the full speech. Listen to me, lock in. Lock in right now. Don't scroll, don't click away, don't move, because what I'm about to tell you, this right here, could change your life. See, some of you out here praying for results you haven't worked for, crying for success but can't sit still long enough to focus for 1 hour, let alone 12. You say you want greatness, but your attention span got the discipline of a goldfish. You say you're hungry, but you get distracted by every ping, every post, every notification like you ain't got a calling on your life. I'm not here to motivate you with cute words. I didn't show up to pat you on the back. I came to tell you the truth. If you don't learn how to focus for hours, straight, locked in, zero compromise, then you're wasting your potential. Period. I need you to hear me on this. There's another level of you, a real version of you, that only shows up when the distractions die and the discipline rises. That version of you doesn't scroll. That version of you doesn't make excuses. That version of you don't tap out after 20 minutes of discomfort. That version of you, that's the version that wins. But you'll never meet that version if you keep letting your emotions run your schedule. You'll never tap into your greatness if you keep negotiating with comfort. You want to be elite. You want to be undeniable. Then you need to master the art of deep, locked-in laser beam focus, not for 10 minutes, not for 1 hour. For 12 hours straight, yes, 12 hours straight, this ain't for everybody. This speech ain't for the half committed. I'm not talking to the people who want to try. I'm talking to the people who are ready to transform. So if that's you, if you're tired of coming up short, if you're done watching other people pass you while you're still figuring it out, if you're ready to flip the switch, then buckle up. Because I'm about to walk you step by step into what it really takes to go 12 hours deep in your grind and walk out the other side a monster. This is the line. This is the moment. And I'm about to give you everything I got. But you've got to stay with me. You've got to listen with your soul. Let's go. Let me know if you want this blended directly into a full speech, broken into segments, or need an audio style delivery script. Let me tell you something. If you want to focus for 12 hours straight, the first thing you've got to do is get obsessed with the mission. I'm not talking about being interested. I'm not talking about being excited for the first hour, the first day, the first week. I'm talking obsession, that all-in burn, the ships ain't, no, going, back type of obsession. Because the truth is, you can't hold focus if the thing you're working on doesn't mean something to you. You can't go 12 hours locked in if the reason behind what you're doing is weak. You've got to ask yourself, what am I chasing? What am I waking up for? What's the thing I'm building that's worth saying no to every distraction, every excuse, every easy way out? Because focus is not a problem of discipline. It's a problem of clarity. People who are on fire for their mission don't need motivation to stay focused. They don't need external hype. They don't need alarms to remind them. When you're truly obsessed with your mission, you don't want to look away. You don't want to get up. You don't want to check your phone. You don't want to drift off into comfort. You want to win. You want to build. You want to finish. See, most people think distractions are the enemy, but that's not the full truth. Distractions are just the proof that you haven't truly decided. You still got options open. You still think there's time. You still believe you can scroll through your feed for 15 minutes and still be great. But when you really make a decision, I mean for real, You shut the door on distractions like your life depends on it. People ask me all the time, how do I stay focused? And I say, you got to fall in love with your why so deep that everything else feels like a betrayal. If you're not willing to sacrifice your comfort, your social media, your sleep, your little dopamine hits, then don't talk to me about 12 hours straight. You're not ready, because when you're really locked in on the mission, you don't see focus as suffering. You see it as freedom. You don't need 20 different strategies to stay focused. You need one reason to never quit. And once that reason is real to you, once it's burning in your chest like fire, you'll protect your time. You'll guard your mind. You'll ruthlessly eliminate anything and anyone that's not on the same frequency. I'm talking about deleting apps. I'm talking about turning off the TV. I'm talking about telling your friends no without guilt. I'm talking about living like the mission owns you. Because the truth is, the reason most people can't stay focused is because they've never actually committed. They've flirted with greatness, but they never married it. They keep showing up half-hearted, wondering why they keep falling short. You want to focus for 12 hours straight. Start by falling so deep in love with the process that you don't even feel the time passing. Start by caring so much about your outcome that distraction becomes unbearable. Start by deciding that this thing you're building, it matters more than your comfort, more than your convenience, more than your excuses. I've seen people who couldn't sit still for 5 minutes lock in for hours when their back was against the wall. Why? Because pain gave them clarity. When it's life or death, you don't get distracted. So why wait until it's desperate to get serious? Why not choose that level of urgency now? If you want to go 12 hours, then the first step is stop entertaining anything that doesn't fuel your mission. Start treating your goals like they're oxygen, like you need them to breathe. Because once you do that, once you make that decision, focus stops being a struggle and becomes your only option. Burn the distractions. Keep your eyes on the mission. Everything else is noise. You don't just wake up and decide to go 12 hours straight with no preparation. That's not how this works. You think champions just show up and execute by luck. You think elite focus just kicks in on command, like flipping a switch. Nah, focus like that. It starts way before you sit down to work. It starts in how you prepare for the moment before the moment. That's where the battle is won. That's where the foundation is built. Let me tell you, every single time I've locked in for 12, 15, 16 hours, it didn't start in the first minute of that grind. It started the night before. It started in my mind when I decided that tomorrow is game day. Just like an athlete doesn't show up to the championship untrained, unfocused, and unready, you can't expect to dominate 12 hours of work if you're coming in empty. See, some of you want to go hard, but you're trying to do it with no fuel. You didn't eat right. You didn't sleep right. You didn't set up your environment. You didn't set your goals. And then you wonder why you're crashing halfway through. That's not a focus problem, that's a preparation problem. The grind don't start when the clock starts. The grind starts when you say, I'm committed, and your actions back it up before the work even begins. I need you to stop winging it. Stop treating your dream like a hobby. Stop waking up and just reacting to whatever hits you that day. That's how amateurs move. That's how people who are okay with average operate. You want to go 12 hours deep. Then you've got to train for it. You've got to structure for it. You've got to go into that time with a plan like a warrior going into battle. Your nutrition, that matters. Your sleep, that matters. the space you're working in cluttered or clear. That matters. You don't stumble into elite execution, you build it, you carve it out, you design it, you set your environment up to win. I'm talking water ready, snacks prepped, phone on airplane mode, playlist locked in, to-do list laser focused. You don't waste time figuring it out once the 12 hours start. You already know, because you prepared, because your setup screams, I'm here for war. And let me tell you something deeper. Not only does preparation give you structure, it gives you confidence. When you've prepared properly, when you've taken care of every little thing before the grind begins, your mind is calm. You're not distracted by hunger. You're not sidetracked by mess. You're not second, guessing your direction. You're locked in. You're sharp. You're ready to strike. That's what the preparation does. It takes the weight off your brain and puts your energy into execution. But most people skip this. They skip it because it's not sexy. Because it's not loud. Because nobody claps for preparation. But I'm telling you right now, that's where the great ones separate themselves. That's where the winners gain the edge. While everybody else is waking up hoping they can focus, the disciplined ones already know they will, because they set it up that way. So don't tell me you want to go 12 hours straight, but you're still sleeping 4 hours a night. Don't tell me you're ready to win, but you didn't prep your mind, your body, or your space. You've got to get your habits in order. You've got to start living like you're preparing for something massive, because you are. You've got to respect the grind enough to honor it with your preparation. You want to be elite, then move like it. Prepare like your breakthrough is on the line, because it is. This ain't just about work. This is about your life, your legacy, your future. You can't afford to freestyle it anymore. You've got to wake up like a soldier, eat like an athlete, think like a general, execute like a machine. This is what separates the talkers from the doers, the dreamers from the achievers. Don't wait until the grind starts to get serious. Get serious before the grind begins. That's how you dominate 12 hours. That's how you stay sharp. That's how you show the world you're not just showing up. You're ready to take over. Let's be real. If you're gonna focus for 12 hours straight, the biggest battle you'll fight won't be with your phone. It won't be with your surroundings. It won't even be with the task in front of you. It's gonna be with that voice inside your head. That little whisper that shows up around hour 4, hour 6, hour 8, saying you're tired, you've done enough, just take a break. You can finish this later. That voice, that's the real enemy. See, most people lose the focus war because they never learned how to shut that voice down. They let that voice lead. They let that voice negotiate with their greatness. And I'm here to tell you, until you learn to take control of that inner dialogue, you will always fold when it gets hard. You will always fall short when the fatigue sets in. Because the moment you listen to that voice instead of talking back to it, you give it power. You have to learn to talk to yourself, not listen to yourself. When your mind starts drifting, when the fatigue kicks in, when the distractions start creeping in, you've got to stop and say, no, we're not done, we're not finished. I made a commitment. I'm staying locked in. That's the level of discipline I'm talking about. That's what separates the ones who grind for a few hours from the ones who grind until the job is done. People want to know why they can't stay focused, and it's because their mental voice is weak. Their self-talk is passive. They've been conditioned to comfort. They've been taught that every time it gets uncomfortable, you back off. Every time you feel stress, you step away. But what if I told you the next level of you, the strong you, the focused you, the relentless you, is hiding right on the other side of that discomfort? You've got to rewire your mind. You've got to flip the script. When your body says, I'm tired, your mind has to say, good, that means I'm growing. When your thoughts say, this is too much, your response has to be, that's exactly why I'm doing it. That's how you build the kind of mindset that can go 12 hours nonstop, no break, no excuse, no compromise. See, focus isn't just about discipline, it's about identity. Who do you believe you are? Because if you see yourself as someone who gets easily distracted, guess what? That's how you're gonna show up. But if you decide right now that you are a person who finishes what they start, that you are a person who controls their thoughts, who directs their energy, who doesn't quit when it gets hard, then everything changes. The mind is the battlefield, and if you don't go to war with the lies it tells you, you will never win. You can have the best goals, the best vision, the best intentions, but if your inner dialogue is weak, if your self-talk is soft, you will break. That voice will talk you out of greatness every single time, so you've got to train it. You've got to speak life into yourself, even when you're tired, especially when you're tired. You've got to practice catching those thoughts the moment they show up. Don't let them sit. Don't let them grow. You intercept that thought and replace it with truth. Replace it with fire. Replace it with your standard, and don't miss this. You don't wait for motivation to do this. You decide. Motivation might not show up, but your voice will. And if you've trained it to speak strength, to speak discipline, to speak mission over mood, you'll stay focused when others fall off. You'll keep grinding when others are looking for reasons to stop. That's how you go 12 hours straight. That's how you stay in control when everything in you is screaming to quit. You don't just have strong hands. You have a strong mind. You don't just have good habits. You have a voice inside that tells you to keep going, no matter what. You want to win this game. You've got to stop letting that weak voice run the show. Speak up. Take over. Command your thoughts. Because once you own your mind, you own your focus. And once you own your focus, you own your future. Let me be real with you. There's gonna come a moment in the middle of that 12-hour stretch when everything in you wants to stop. Your eyes are heavy, your brain is foggy, your energy's gone. Your back hurts, your fingers ache, your motivation disappeared 5 hours ago. That's when it gets real. That's the moment that separates the people who kind of want it from the ones who refuse to be denied. Because you can plan, you can prepare, you can get obsessed with the mission and control your inner dialogue. But none of that matters if you don't know how to push through pain when it shows up. Because it will show up. I promise you, discomfort is not the enemy. It's the test. It's the entry fee. It's the gate you've got to walk through to reach the next level of you. You want to be elite. You want to stand out. Then understand this. Discomfort is part of the journey. It's not a signal to quit. It's a signal to go deeper, to dig harder, to level up. But here's the thing. Most people treat pain like a red light. They hit that wall and stop. They think, I'm uncomfortable. That means I should rest. That means I'm not ready. That means I'm failing. No, that's not failure. That's proof you're in the right place. That's growth knocking on your door saying, show me what you're made of. And how you respond in that moment, that's everything. That's who you really are. Pain is the path. You've got to flip your mindset. You've got to start seeing pain not as punishment, but as preparation. You've got to reframe it. When it hurts, you say, good. Now we're getting somewhere. When you're tired, you say, perfect. Now I know the next hour is going to count. When everybody else would take a break, you lean in. You lock in harder. You choose to feel it and keep going anyway. And let me tell you, this ain't natural. This is trained. This is learned behavior. We were raised in a culture that tells us to chase ease, to avoid discomfort, to protect ourselves from stress. But if you want to be great, you've got to unlearn that mindset. You've got to invite the hard. You've got to train yourself to smile in the storm, not because it feels good, but because you know what it's doing to you. You know it's making you stronger. It's sharpening you. It's breaking down the weak parts so the real you can rise. You think the greatest people in the world got there without pain, without pushing through exhaustion, without sacrificing comfort, sleep, fun, entertainment, all of it. No. They got there because they built their success on a foundation of discipline through discomfort. They felt what you're feeling, but they didn't run from it. They used it. They took that pain and made it power. So the next time you hit hour 6 and you're fading, hour 9 and you're drained, hour 11 and your mind starts yelling at you to stop, that is the moment you lean in. You don't shrink. You expand. You breathe through it. You decide that nothing will pull you off your mission, that nothing will make you fold, because this right here, is the part of the grind that builds monsters. You've got to want it so bad that pain doesn't scare you anymore. You've got to want it so bad that discomfort becomes a familiar place. You've got to want it so bad that when everybody else sees adversity, you see opportunity. While they run away from pressure, you run to it, because you know that pressure is producing something in you. It's producing grit. It's producing fire. It's producing an unbreakable version of you. The truth is, success doesn't belong to the most talented. It doesn't belong to the most gifted. It belongs to the ones who stayed when it hurt. It belongs to the ones who finished when everything in them wanted to quit. It belongs to the ones who didn't negotiate with pain. They partnered with it. So if you want to focus for 12 hours straight, understand this. You've got to carry pain like it's part of the plan, not just carry it. Embrace it. Because when you do, you unlock a level of power and clarity that the comfortable will never experience. And that is when the real you finally rises.